Hey, Joe, who's our special guest today?
We have an AI cybersecurity expert podcaster named Karissa Breen. She's from Australia. She lives in Orlando now, and she's decided to generously give us her time to talk about, her career, her company, KBI.Media.
All right, guys. Hey, how you doing? Sorry I'm late. Listen, what are we doing today?
We are speaking with an AI cybersecurity expert named Karissa Breen today.
That is not what I had on my sheet today. So now, while you guys are chatting, I'm going to go Google. And,
quickly use the AI to research this.
Yeah. You may want to.
Come up with some questions.
I almost asked you why you were late, but I don't even care anymore at this point.
So does anyone know anything about cybersecurity at all?
No.
Paul? Anything?
What I always find interesting is that you're using AI to fight AI. Like your cybersecurity is using AI.
I mean, that's basically the future, right? I mean, AI is just going to fight each other, and whoever has more robots is going to win, I think.
Is it going to fight each other, or is it going to work together and think that it's fighting against, but it's actually scheming against us?
I don't know. I'm looking for a farm somewhere very far away to just go and live on.
I don't even want to. I want to live in the 1990s.
Me too.
I'm just going to learn binary.
Me too.
Talk
80s.
like
I'd like to go back to the 80s.
Oh, well, Carissa's in. Why don't I add her in and let's start the show, huh?
Action and adventure is my everyday life. I am very entrepreneurial. I quit my job in 2017, didn't really know what I was going to do, but I had this drive, this vision. I wanted to change something. I've always been very curious. I ask lots of questions. I want to know how people think. People just used to look at media as in words on a page, but it's so much more than that now. I think that the key to doing content properly is doing all of it, not just one piece of it. People who don't do that, 100% they're going to be left behind.
Karissa Breen, thank you for joining us on our third Quotable Media podcast. I really appreciate you doing this, after you've already just recorded an interview yourself.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's exciting to be on the other side, which I often don't get to experience as much. So really appreciate the opportunity.
Sure. One of the things we like to do is called the Quotable Vibe Check.
Sure.
So right off the bat, I hit you with a random 10 questions, and then you give me your answers. And what that does is that kind of gives us a sense of who you are as a person, and we get a little bit of knowledge about you. All right, so you ready?
Hit me.
Okay. All right. First question: action and adventure, or peace and relaxation?
I think peace and relaxation, because action and adventure is my everyday life. So having the opposite of that is nice.
All right, good. We need to talk about that. Okay, so how about, would you rather assemble IKEA furniture with no instructions or read a 40-page manual before touching anything?
Oh, that's hard. Well, I kind of hate both, to be honest. So I'm going to say I never usually read IKEA instructions anyway, because I feel like my attention span is not there. So I'm going to go with the IKEA option.
Okay, good. All right, would you rather pull an all-nighter building something exciting or spend 10 years maintaining something boring but that works perfectly?
All-nighter, hard and fast, always. Not 10 years.
All right, great. All right, this is a tough one. What's your airplane drink?
Oh, gin and tonic. And I've found that the American airlines, like as in all the US airlines, they have definitely better gin than we have in Australia.
Really?
Yes.
I'm surprised. I would think you guys would get the good British stuff.
No, we get really, I feel like we get relegated a bit. So yeah, I'm gin and tonic, definitely. It has to have the lime as well. Or sometimes if I'm feeling fancy, if there's a cucumber, they can throw that in. But sometimes that's limited.
Gotcha. Okay, this one's a good one. Would you rather accidentally send a risky text to your dad or to a client?
Most of my clients are men, so I think that would be slightly awkward. But then my dad is super awkward. I'm going to go with client.
That's a tough one. I would definitely pick my dad because he's like that. But all right, would you rather give a keynote to 10,000 people or write a 500-word LinkedIn post every day that everyone you know sees?
I'm going to go keynote, 10,000 people. I think that I've done a few keynotes. I haven't gotten to 10,000 people yet, but I think that'd be a great opportunity.
Good. So that means you're definitely extroverted. You're not an introvert.
I think I'm an ambivert, but yes.
Okay, great. So how early do you get to the airport?
Well, I'm actually going to the airport tomorrow. I definitely follow the rules. I'm a very compliant person. Despite, I know like a lot of Americans are like somewhat non-compliant, but as an Australian, like I'm definitely on the side of caution. I get there as early as possible. I have missed one flight in my life and I never want to do that again. And with the I-4 traffic here in Orlando, like you never know what's going to hit you. So for me, I'm always about going early.
That's good. I'm like a 2-hour person. I know John's a 2-3 hour guy. Paul,
Definitely.
you're 2-3 hour as well, right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. The only thing I'll be early for is an airport.
Yeah.
Facts.
All right. Number 8. Would you rather live permanently in the 1990s or permanently 20 years in the future?
Well, I was born in the 90s, so, I mean, look, if I was a bit older experiencing the 90s, I think the 90s. I mean, I love the fashion, I love the music, like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls, like, I feel like the music's definitely changed now, so even just on that front, 100% I want to be stuck in the 90s.
Yeah, me too. That's not even a debate for me. The future's only getting worse.
Yeah, I don't really think anything's going to be good up the next 20 years.
All right, number 9. When making a huge decision, do you trust the spreadsheet or the weird feeling in your stomach?
Weird feeling in the stomach. It's an intuitive thing. As a female, I think I've ignored it before and I've been wrong. I know men typically are numbers guys, will look at the spreadsheet, but 100%, it's that sixth sense, gut feeling, always go with your gut.
Excellent. Finally, this is a different one. What keeps you up at night?
My inability to sleep. I think what keeps me up, there's a couple of things. Number 1 would be, am I doing enough in my business? Number 2 would be, I'm super like perfectionist, maybe slightly OCD, probably ADHD in there and other things, who knows, that am I operating at the level I should be? And then number 3 would just be like random facts, like who came up with like lukewarm water? Like who's Luke? And why is it called lukewarm water? Those are the things that genuinely keep me up at night.
That's excellent. That's great answers. I think we're sufficiently warmed up now so we can actually talk about what we came here to talk about. Let's talk about KBI.Media, how you started it up. I know you're from, everybody can tell you're from Australia, but why are you here now? Tell me about it.
Okay, I love this question. So first of all, I have a profound love for the United States and I have come here many times, actually, on holiday, for work. I've always wanted to move here as a kid. I actually never really wanted to live in any other country but this one. You know, a lot of people in Australia, they go to the United Kingdom or London or Singapore. That was never on my radar. It was always living here, I think, because the personalities are bigger, everything's bigger here, the cars, the highways, the food. So for me, I think it plays into my personality. So I'm really excited to be here. I've just been here 9 months. But how I started KBI.Media is I actually am a cybersecurity practitioner by trade. So I actually started my technology career, maybe 15 so years ago. And then I just had this natural sort of ability to communicate with people. And I found myself in roles of communicating internally to a client. So I've worked in a bank in Australia. So largest bank in Australia, 10th largest bank in the world. I was an analyst there. I used to write all the board reports for the Chief Information Security Officer, so top dog that runs cybersecurity for a bank. And I think it gave me a real understanding for storytelling and creating narratives. And one thing that I found in our space, which was quite banal, which was around cybersecurity and how we were telling that story. And I think a lot of people would use facts and figures. But I think really at the end of the day, people connect with stories. And if you even go back to traditionally when people would talk around a campfire, they would connect through stories. No one was pulling up spreadsheets back then. So I am very entrepreneurial. Again, plays into being here in the United States as it's a very entrepreneurially driven culture. I quit my job 2017, didn't really know what I was going to do, but I had this drive, this vision. I wanted to change something. I was so sick to death of everyone virtue signaling and saying, oh, we've got to bring awareness to cybersecurity or whatever it may be. So what I actually created before KBI.Media, funnily enough, and this makes sense because I had a lot of customers coming to me and asking me around like, hey KB, how do I sell my cybersecurity product and really socially awkward. And so what I created, which I still own, and is the undertone for our media company, is a content agency. So developing content. Admittedly, not the same sort of content we see today, because this is going back almost a decade. Started that and then started a little podcast. Before podcasting was even a thing, before this platform we're recording on was ever around, we used to record on Skype, which is not in operation anymore. They've actually completely closed that down, Microsoft have. So I think that's how I started doing media work. I started interviewing people. I've always been very curious. I ask lots of questions. I want to know how people think. I want to get into the minds of why people do what they do. And cybersecurity is a big problem that touches the sides of every single person in the world. So I think that there wasn't enough level of modernity in the space that I wanted to bring. So again, organically started to randomly build a media company. And then I would say in 2022, we saw a gap from a publishing point of view, and then we unveiled the KBI.Media brand, and then using myself at the coalface and using my own brand to really power that. And now it's completely exploded across Asia Pacific, and we've expanded recently here in the US. So at a very quick rendition, that's where I started, and that's how I got into it, and that's what I'm doing today.
Excellent. John, did you want to talk to her about, I know you had a question about content.
Yeah, I think we can all kind of agree that content is king these days, with everything, with all the social media platforms and everything out there. Do you have a philosophy on basically creating content for yourself or bringing that to your brands?
Yeah, so a couple of things come to mind. Number one would be variations of content. So when our audience is technology executives or executives in general, but everyone consumes content very differently. One of the gaps that I identified is most people just talking about words on a web page. So I think that you've got to do all of the things. Now I think with like AI, that's obviously people are getting lazier. They're just going to do the summarized version. But in saying that, people really connect with hosts. So podcasts are a really great form of content. Again, I don't see enough people doing this, especially in our space or generally speaking, or doing it well. Number one. The second thing would be short form content. There's the whole doom scrolling thing. I know when I go to sleep at night, I want to doom scroll to just suss it out what's happening, but I'm not really keen on listening to something for 40 minutes. But when I go to sleep as well, when I can't sleep, I like to always tune into a podcast that I can listen to and eventually fall asleep. That's also how I retain a lot of the knowledge that I have in my space, which changes every day. So I think that the key is you got to do all forms of content as well as the written stuff as well. And social media. Not enough companies nowadays, especially in my space, are very heavily focused on social. And I think that the key to doing content properly is doing all of it, not just one piece of it. But then in saying that, it's a hard thing to do. And I think too many people create too many streams and then they end up only doing 10% of each of those. So I'd say focus on one stream, do it really, really well before moving to the next one.
Why do you think brands are so bad at telling their story? Their personal story, and they need, outside marketers. They created the company, but then when it comes to just telling what they do, they're terrible at it.
Well, I think that everyone likes drinking their own Kool-Aid. Everyone likes patting themselves on the back, like, hey, Joe, you did a great job. Well, maybe you didn't. Maybe you need like a voice of someone external like myself to come in and really start to question that. And I think that, buyers and consumers are getting smarter. They're not just listening to what, some 50-year-old company is saying anymore. They actually do need external voices to tell that story. So I think that companies that can back it up with being questioned by journalists and media people like myself actually then does demonstrate capability. So I think that naturally it's the forest and the trees analogy. So I think sometimes you do need that external voice of reason to really showcase what you are doing in the market and then really being open to allowing that to happen.
You focus mostly on the cybersecurity topic, right? With most of your guests on your podcast.
Yes.
So you're talking to a lot of people in that space. What is scaring them right now? I know you hear a lot about Project Glasswing and those, the AI getting out of hand and not, finding vulnerabilities that they didn't even know existed. Is that
right?
Is that what's happening in the space right now? What's going to happen in the next few years that you're hearing?
Well, I think a lot of things at the moment. I think the whole AI thing. So yes, AI has been around for a lot longer than 2022 when OpenAI sort of really hard launched in market. But I think that it's the compound growth is like every day, every week, things are just like accelerating. I think that concerns people. I think the displacement of jobs concerns people, because now people have got to continuously up skills. So back in the day, we'd be like, okay, I'm safe to do this job. Now you're not safe. I don't think anyone's safe. There's that. I also think now with geopolitics is massively a problem. Geopolitics also pushes down to our critical infrastructure. So you guys would be very familiar with the Colonial Pipeline attack that happened a few years ago here. That sent the United States into chaos. So that stuff keeps happening. You start to see that your society unravels very, very quickly. I think that's what's on people's minds, and that's what's on government's minds as well. And then I think there's other things. The interview I ran before was about everyday consumer applications that we talk through, like WhatsApp or Signal or whatever that may be. That's a problem as well. So there is so many things actually that come to mind. Another one would be deepfakes. So if I was trying to pay an invoice and someone impersonated me, but actually it was an attacker sending money to a cyber criminal, that's a problem. We're seeing these things, deepfake, artificially generated images online of politicians. That then sets a tone. People don't have the level of discernment nowadays to be able to say, is it real or is it fake? I mean, these are just a couple of things, but I mean, I could go on and on here.
Would you consider yourself a modern day journalist in the sense that, like, legacy media is kind of old, and I know a lot of people a lot of the older generation gets their news from legacy media. I'm probably on the cusp of that older generation, but I get all of my news online. I get everything online. And I think it's just because I've been part of that. So what would you say, what do you think about the future of legacy media versus this kind of new technology?
Okay, I love this question. Yes, I would say that we're 100% modern media. And so what does that mean? Well, I think now, with what I'm seeing in media with let's take it back a step. So when you want to know something, where you're not really Googling stuff nowadays, and yes, we could argue like, Gemini and all that, but nowadays people are using Claude, they're using ChatGPT to get answers. So you've got to think about it. If you're a company, a tech company, a cyber company, how are you going to be referenced then in those answers? And now we're sort of getting into the space of reference media. So now I do believe modern media companies like ours have a very big place in the market, even more so than before, to get into that reference media game. So what we're going to start to see, and we are seeing, is SEO 20 years ago, but from the GEO perspective. Where I think where I think mainstream legacy media is going wrong is they keep trying to monetize up subscription. People aren't going to do that anymore. I mean, I'm seeing very big companies out there that's been around for a long time still trying to flog $1 a week for subscription. People aren't paying it anymore. Where I think these big businesses are failing to understand is meeting people where they're at. Where are they at? Where are they consuming the content? Social media is another big one. I'm starting to see some of these big companies trickle through from a social media perspective, but again, I think there's more work to be done. But in saying that, a lot of their platforms are built on very old tech stacks, very legacy platforms. It's not so easy to just lift and shift. There's a whole mindset, there's a cultural shift, there's a policy, there's so many different driving factors that it's not as easy. But with us, it's a lot more, we've got more agility, we're more nimble, and I'm thinking about this stuff all the time, and day by day, 100% changes. So there is a very good opportunity for businesses like mine in the market to dominate.
Paul, I know you had a question for Karissa. Go ahead.
I did. It goes back a little bit more, but being in the 90s and everything, you pretty much Gen Z has paved the way for millennials and everybody. You've been there for the first start. So even with Skype, so how would you say that how many times do you think you reinvented yourself throughout that time as the platforms changed, as everything's changed, as more people came on? You had to keep changing to compete.
Well, I'm definitely a millennial, so I was born in the early part of the 90s. But you got to keep reinventing yourself regardless. I think people who don't do that, 100% they're going to be left behind. I think it's about, I adopt the Kaizen theory, which is getting better 1% each day. I think you've always got to keep looking ahead. What interests me a lot in media is it changes every day. And there's new opportunities, as well as leveraging technology. I still love technology at the end of the day, and I think marrying the two up is really unique, and it makes a profound impact, because I think people just used to look at media as in words on a page, but it's so much more than that now.
Yeah, I remember doing years. I mean, I did years of network news, and then when bloggers and everybody was coming out, everybody would make fun, go, oh, what are they doing? Oh, this is just kids
now
doing
it's
news.
everything.
Now everybody
Yeah.
switches that. Now all the networks have hired a whole crews just to do exactly that, because just like you said, they realize that people don't turn on the TV and watch a
Right.
half hour hoping to get one piece of news that they want to hear.
We've
So-
seen it in the video production field where, we would do legacy media stuff. We would be making VNRs, video news releases, and satellite media tours and news packages. And, a blogger was like the last person that ever, got the scoop, And now it's completely
changed.
flipped. It's completely
Yeah.
flipped. I know that when we were talking prior, and you've been all around the world doing what you do, and you have a crazy schedule. Tell me about how you manage your work-life balance. I know that's a big thing for people nowadays. How do you manage that, or are you just like, I don't care, I'm young, I'm gonna burn out myself right now, and I'll worry about that later?
I think it's twofold. I think that given, as we talked about before I got on here, I've actually got a really sore eye at the moment. So I think that whether that was random or it was related to burnout, who knows? But I think what's important for me, because I do operate both regions, so North America as well as Asia Pacific, which are opposite, I think I don't sweat the small stuff. I also think I want to get answers quickly from people. Like, I do think people here are a little bit faster to respond. I think the Australians are a little bit more like, yeah, we'll get round to it. But I'm just sort of showing up and saying, I need these answers, I need them quickly. And I think whoever gets in there first in, first serve in terms of, interviewing, events, stuff I do around the world. I also think I try to have a bit of time in the middle of the day. It's like the one time in the day where people are busy here in the US and then everyone in Asia Pacific is asleep. So I try to have a little bit of that. I also sort of am adopting this theory of like a FIFO worker, which is fly in, fly out. So tomorrow I'm pretty much will do 2.5, 3 weeks back to back of events, traveling all around the US, very high intense days of filming and interviewing, etc. And then once I come off that, I'll have a bit of a break. I think that's a way that I've adopted to operating at such a high gear for a number of days. And I think that you can't do it each day like that. It's exhausting. So I think that these are things I've had to sort of learn along the way. And these things have just been like sprung on me. So it's not like no one said like you should do it like that. We're inventing this stuff that we do. We're creating new ways of formats. And I've just had to adapt to like what would work for me in order to be the best version of myself. And look, I don't have all the answers, but I think trying to do things in sprints and then obviously taking your foot off the accelerator, because I mean, if not, then 100% you're going to have burnout.
Absolutely. What's the biggest lie the cybersecurity industry is telling itself right now? Is it that, that they can solve all these problems and it's not going to get away from them?
I think absolutely. Biggest lie is you buy this one tool to solve all your problems, silver bullet solution. That is 100% incorrect and not, you're never 100% secure. Like, who knows? Like, it's happening to governments. Governments of the United States, which has got all this money, and they still have issues. So you've just got to put it into perspective that if you're just some consumer, you're probably going to have an issue at some stage. But I think that it's just about, number one, of course, being aware. Number two, equipping yourself with the knowledge on, is that AI or is that a real video of that politician saying that? Oh, should I invest my money into this random crypto scam on YouTube and I don't know this person? You need to have that level of discernment, which I think definitely is lost perhaps in all different generations. It's not just the old generations, the newer generation as well. Why? Because people are looking at content all day that they're feeling fatigued from it. So I think that these are the things where the narrative hasn't really changed since I've been in this space around awareness and people are being scammed and companies are, losing money and data breaches are happening. And the part that really gets me is we have so much technology and yet we have more attacks, more breaches than ever before. I mean, look, who knows? But I think these are some of the issues that people should be paying attention to.
Karissa, we're going to move on to the final segment. It's another fun one that we do. We're going to call this one very creatively Australia versus the U.S.
I love this one. Yeah, great.
Okay. All right, I'm going to ask you 10 quick questions. You're going to tell me if it's Australia is the winner or the U.S. is the winner in these sections, okay?
Okay,
All right,
I'm ready.
number one, better coffee culture, Australia or the U.S.?
Australia, hands down. Coffee here sucks. As soon as I moved here, I got my own coffee machine straight away. Don't do Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks. Absolutely forget it. Rubbish.
What's your drink? Is it flat white or something cool like that?
Yeah, like a flat white, a long black, any of those sort of things. It's just that the coffee is stronger than what, like here, it's like I get a whole thing of it and it doesn't do anything for me. I think it rattles the Americans for sure, but I need strong caffeine into my veins.
Very good. You should have gone to Miami more often, right? Miami has the strongest coffee we have.
Well,
All right, well,
that's my next move.
Oh, good. Speaking of Miami, Bondi Beach or Miami Beach?
Ooh, okay. In terms of looks, definitely Bondi Beach. I mean, look, in terms of beaches, Australia wins hands down. In terms of vibe, I'm going to say Miami. But people will hate me on that, but that's okay, I'm here.
Yeah, that's a pretty controversial statement. Yep, definitely.
I've said it now.
All right, number 3, Route 66 or an Australian outback road trip?
Route 66. I mean, look, the outback is just red dirt for, as you guys would say, miles on end. And I mean, it's just repetitive. Sounds boring to me.
Absolutely. You know, I know a lot of people from outside the U.S. love Route 66 for some reason.
I know.
Because it's what it's what's been across Hollywood, and we've seen it in movies and all that. You know what I mean? You guys do a really good job at marketing yourselves, so that's why people are attracted to it.
Very good. Okay, number 4, better live sports atmosphere, Australia or the U.S.?
Sports atmosphere? Mm-hmm. Definitely the United States. I mean, people are going to hate me. I mean, my husband loves sports. He's going to hate me when I say that. I have cricket and stuff. You guys don't really watch that. But 100% definitely sports here in the US.
Great. Okay, I agree with you. All right, Foster's or Miller Lite, which is worse?
Oh, God. Okay, so for the record, no one in Australia drinks Foster's. I don't know why that's become a thing.
I know.
I don't drink beer in general, but the other one I never even heard of, so I'm going to go
Miller
with
Lite? Miller, oh God.
Just Miller Lite. Anything light sounds terrible, so I'm going to go with Miller Lite.
Yes, it is terrible. That's funny. You haven't had a Miller Lite. Wow. You got it. Well, I would say you have to try one, but no, you do not have to try one.
Yeah, you do not.
All right. Number 6, better work-life balance. I think we kind of touched on this. Australia or the U.S.?
Definitely Australia, but I'm an entrepreneur, so that's why I want to be here. I think that entrepreneurs, 100% you got to live and breathe in the US, but if you want to go to Bondi Beach and, take half a day off here and there, 100% Australia. But, as we call it, strokes for different folks.
Very good. Better wildlife, Australia or the US?
Okay, this one. So I recently came back from Alaska, and everyone's like, oh, in Australia, everything tries to kill you. I'm sorry, everything in the US tries to kill you. You got coyotes, you got mountain lions, you got random moose, you got random bears, and then, you've got, all these crazy things in the water, like alligators. So
you got your Crocs. You got Crocs.
Yeah, I know. But I think, look, it's something different. Like, when I was in Alaska, I made the people who sponsored me, drive me around to, find a random bear. I've never seen a bear in the wild before. Didn't see one, didn't see a moose, but that is awesome. It's the stuff that you sort of see in movies. We don't get those things in Australia. So, yeah, I like the wildlife here. They're pretty cool. And I actually like squirrels, but apparently people hate them here.
Wow, I would have put money that you would have picked Australia on that one. I didn't think we had a shot, to be honest. If you talk about marketing, Australia has marketed itself as its creatures very well.
That is facts. You're right.
All right, number 8. This one is going to really hit you in the cliche.
Okay.
Better grilled meats, Australia or U.S.?
Okay, well,
and I will allow shrimp as a meat.
We call it prawns. So, what I would say, our meat quality grade is substantially higher in the US. In Australia. What am I saying? In Australia. So here, I'm always really questioning, is this meat, quality? Is it real meat? Who knows? I would have to say Australia. I think US actually imports a lot of beef from Australia as well. So that's something that maybe people didn't know. Definitely going to say Australia on that one.
I don't know if you guys remember. It was always a rumor when we were kids that the McDonald's meat was kangaroo meat. And that it was.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
I've never eaten that, but that sounds terrible.
It doesn't sound great.
All right, better accent, Australia or Southern US?
No.
Okay, well, I have a story on this. So I think I overall like American accents because it's what you get used to watching growing up on television. Again, Hollywood's done favors for the US market. I don't like the Australian accent. And then I was hanging out with a couple of US folks the other day, and one of the guys was saying, he's like, oh, my friend went to Australia and she hated the accents there. I mean, look, we rank for really good accents, apparently, but I don't like it. But again, it's something different. I do find some people do speak a little bit fast. I have to really listen. And then some of the words just don't make sense that you guys say here. And then I have to sort of double check what you mean by that. But I'm going to say an American accent. Oh, my country's going to hate me.
Okay, final one. And then I actually have another question, but it's just a follow-up. But this is the final one, number 10. Worst politics, U.S. or Australia?
They're both pretty bad. I mean, if you've seen the Australian politics at the moment, it is cooked. Okay, very openly, U.S. politics rattles me because it feels as if no one's actually running the country. They're just talking about how the other side sucked more. That's the part I find really interesting. It's like, why don't we actually focus on doing the work? But what we'll do is we'll just talk about what the other side does. I find that interesting. I mean, look, it's honestly like watching a soap opera. I find it incredibly very unique, and there's no other politics like US politics for sure.
And then maybe you can answer this one for me. Why in the hell is Australia in the Eurovision contest?
I have no idea. Seriously, I have no idea.
I saw that and I was like, you guys were in the final 3.
I have no idea. But then who was that Olympian lady that everyone made fun of? Yeah. That was looked like jumped around like a kangaroo for the Olympics.
Yeah. Oh, what was her name? Oh, she went so viral here. Oh man,
she went crazy viral. Everyone judged us as if we were like low performers. What was her name? Reagan.
Yep.
I mean, look, who knows? Any PR is good PR, but again, yeah, we're not all like that. But good on her for giving it a go. We're giving it a crack, as we say in Australia.
Great, Karissa. Any final thoughts you want to tell us about in the industry or your, career going forward?
Final thoughts would be, look, I'm always going to be an Australian. I'm a country kid at heart in Australia. I always will have a very strong, fierce love for Australia. But look, I love my new life here. I love meeting new people. I think Americans are very open. You're very friendly. You're very, very polite. Not as direct as us, so I've sort of got to tone it back a little bit. But hey, I'm enjoying the wildlife. Some of the food's questionable. But at the end of the day, I really love the opportunities, and that is what they call the US, the land of opportunities.
Amazing.
Thanks so much for being on the show, Karissa.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.